the concept of like, so you've been through shit, and not you specifically, but just a person has been through a bunch of shit, but you also, to heal and move forward, you need a level of vulnerability, and that requires a lot of trust and bravery too. And so it's just that interesting balance dichotomy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you did start to touch on it with the self-love and acceptance, and it's like you kind of have to. Do you think you have to start there before you can start probably externally with people?
I think for me was I lived a little bit of a conflicted life where I was very kind and gentle, but then also like it's like Jekyll and Hyde, right? There is also this other side of me that's like way more aggressive, way more assertive, way more mean, and all these other things. And for me, it was a matter of I just got to a point in my mental health that I was just depleted. I was burnt out of work. I was full time in school. I was involved in like codependency. I was just not healed from all the traumas that I have experienced. So I had all these behaviors that I wasn't aware of. And it was until my business partner helped me understand that, and just a matter of my own mental health just being depleted, that I was like, okay. So it was a breakdown on my birthday that led me to go into therapy so that I could heal and address these things. And then in June, I kind of had an episode where I felt like I was really acting out of character, and it was just a weird situation for myself that I was like, okay, there's something here that I need to address. And I don't recommend people to do this. Number one, because you got to be kind of a fucked up individual to do it this way. And I've learned it. So that's why I did it this way. But I went to the root cause of my pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to my very first traumatic experience and understood why I was so afraid of pain, and why I was so protective over myself and others, and why I was so reactive. And it was through understanding that I was afraid of pain because of bees. I was terrified of bees because I got fucking stung in the eye by a hornet that fucked me up. And I was like, that was always my fear. So I was like, well, I'm not afraid of bees. Well, I'm afraid of pain. Why am I afraid of pain? And I had to look back and think of when my first time I experienced pain was. And that's, I was out in nature. I was out there for 4.5 hours with a pen and paper. And I just wrote down and journaled, and just like the floodgates opened up, and I just saw everything for the first time. And so for me to be where I'm at here, saying that you need love and kindness and acceptance and all these other radical things that I a year ago would not believe in, I had to begin by humanizing myself and asking myself, who hurt you? What hurt you? Who did this to you that made you this way? And then understanding where that root cause was, and then starting from that, building up to all the other things. And it, again, not the best way, don't fucking recommend it, but I encountered over 100+ traumatic experience that I could vividly remember and recall. So for me, I had to undo all these things. And it began with acknowledging that the behavior that I was involved in wasn't something I agreed with. The way that I was mentally and physically feeling was complete shit. And I had to ask for help. And once I was getting help, I began to understand that I was avoiding pain. And once I understood that I was afraid of pain, I went to confront it. And I was like, you know what, fuck you, let's do this. And I'm here now.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting you say like you don't recommend going to the root cause of pain. And like in talking with other counselors, well, not that you're a counselor, but you know, and it just seems like it's some like there's also the book Feeding Your Demons. It talks about like the thing you want to meditate on or try to think about it should be the thing you're most afraid of, or like, oh, not that, that's probably what you need to address. So, but
Mhm.
on the other hand, you're doing this by your, well, were you doing counseling at the same time?
Yeah, I would meet with my therapist like bi-weekly. And so like she was like, William, you're my favorite client because you only spend 1 hour with me and you come back with weeks worth of work done because I explored it. I went out
Yeah.
there to go and find these answers. Now, I do say find the root cause of things, but for certain people who don't have the I don't want to say it's strength because it is one bit strength, but like if you're not ready for that amount of pain,
Hmm.
then like don't go with little things. It's just like weightlifting, right?
Yeah.
Like
Don't
don't
dive
start
into
with the heaviest
300
weight.
pounds or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Like so that way you build up the tolerance for your stress. It's basically stress development where you're able to adjust to moderate amount of stress so that you can begin to look at these things deeper. And then you can be like, oh, at 4 years old, I was a witness of this act of violence. Right. And then it could be like, I'm ready to hear that. I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to understand that.
Yeah.
Other people are not even ready to even talk about what made them upset an hour ago. How the fuck are you going to get them to talk about what they went through as a child?
Right.
So
Yeah.
for me, I went to the bare alls like I'm that guy who does shit sprinting downhill. It's who I am. I do things backwards. I wish my brain works differently, but it's what I do, and then I do little shit afterwards.
Yeah. So for viewers, we'll just clarify that neither one of us are trained therapists. We both do counseling, but if you do, like, we both go to therapists, not
Yeah.
not offering service. So anyway, so if you need help, it's very, we both, I'm assuming we both strongly recommend counseling, like getting the help you need, but you also need to do the work outside of that because they're not going to fix all your problems.
Fuck no, they're just gonna ask you really good questions.
Yeah.